Prince Harry turned over a new page. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London, blistering heart of London today. Hope you're all keeping well as ever. We've apparently been promised a heat wave by the weekend. Could be 33, 34, maybe even 35. Oh, I'll have to get my knotted hanky out for that one. I do kind of like the fact that, you know, the minute they decide there's going to be a heat wave, I don't know if it's like that in your country, all the TV ads suddenly decide to sell you fans and expensive rotating things and stuff. It's a few days, you know, it's not worth it. I always think a good waft with the Radio Times every now and again is enough, isn't it? You know, why waste money on expensive fans? You all know I'm a tight Yorkshireman, don't you? So, never really want to spend that much money. Of course, it depends, doesn't it? If you are an ex-royal and you've been offered a lot of money, then a lot is expected of you, and let me explain the reasons why. Prince Harry, as we know, signed a big deal with Transworld Penguin Random House, and this was the deal that was really going to be the one that was going to keep them in a lot of money for a long time, you know. And also, when you think with book publishers, let me tell you, I've got colleagues who are very clever writers, who have very successful novels, and they do get big advances, but they do have to sell the books. You know, as I've said before, it's not a simplistic thing of here's the book and then I'll walk away. They have to go on book tours, festivals, online chats, one-to-ones. There's a lot to do to try and sell that particular individual book. And it's interesting, isn't it, with these sort of 21st century formats now, because of course we have Kindle, downloads, all that sort of stuff. There's many ways for you to read a book. And that's going to be one of the big problems, as we said many times here on the show, with Prince Harry, because, you know, he's got to flog that book. But now it would appear, or is it, that that particular book has now been put on hold. Now, this is all to do with the fact that normally, as we told you a few weeks ago, their preparation for this should have really kick-started in, you know. The marketing should have kick-started in, because really it's normally around about September, October time when people really decide to buy the books for Christmas, place their orders internationally, the usual sort of thing. What's interesting though is that they've decided at Penguin Random House not to include Prince Harry's book on their forthcoming slate. Now, one of the PR people is basically saying, well, don't read too much into that. But what we can tell you as ever when we dug a little bit deeper is this. The bigger problem for Prince Harry is, well, there's two in fact, and we're working on the other one right now for you. But the first one is this. It's the lawyers. You know, it really is all down to what they can get through on the book, because as we've said to you before, it's very interesting when you write an autobiography, particularly for those people that are still with us in the current climate. It's not very easy to get proof to sign off. So yes, you can be speculative and say, you know, a source and all that sort of stuff, as many tabloid writers do. But of course, when you're writing an autobiography, it's supposed to be based on truth. That's what they're paying their big bucks for. And according to that very good source, the lawyers are really struggling to back up some of the claims. And as ever, we have to say allegedly. Now, you can only imagine what those claims are. And without people coming forward to back them up, say on Prince Harry's behalf, then that becomes even more difficult for them to push forward with the book. Now, you know, they can go down the reversion route and look at revisions and all sorts of stuff to trim it down. But is it enough? And this is the bigger problem for Penguin Random House. Is it enough? Is there enough bombshells in there to actually worthy the $20 million, allegedly, that they're going to fork out to Prince Harry? So right now, this particular tomb is in limbo, and he doesn't want to change the plot, and they're concerned that they can't get many of the items through. Either way, it's going to be gathering dust on some shelf for a little time to come. As to the second part of it, we'll thoroughly let you know as soon as we find out the next. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.